Hello, everybody. It's just Soccer here from NumotTheNummy.com. We have a pretty cool video idea for you guys here today, so I hope you enjoy it. We are playing what could have been. We are just coming out of Pro Tour Oath of Gatewatch, which, if you know, was absolutely dominated by Eldrazi. And there's a lot of flack being thrown at Wizards for creating a metagame, a format where the top end is so dominated, not diverse at all. And part of the blame being thrown at them is for banning Splinter Twin. The theory being that Twin decks would have kept Eldrazi decks in check, and we would have seen a healthier field. So that's what we're going to test today. I am playing Splinter Twin, and Kenji Egashira, aka NumotTheNummy of Numot Gaming fame, will be playing the Eldrazi side. And we're going to test if Twin really would have helped against the alien scum. So this is the Twin list I will be playing today. You'll note it's listed under Freeform here, as it is not a legal modern deck because this fine fellow, or these ladies, I should say, are not allowed in the format any longer. If you've been living under a rock, the combo is you put a twin on either a Pestermite or a Deceiver Exarch, tap to make a copy, which untaps the original, ad infinitum, attack for 1,000,000. I am going to say a couple of things here before we get to the games. One is that if Eldrazi is a problem, which it might be, it seems like it might be from the Pro Tour, but we'll have to get a little more playtesting and a couple more tournament results before we make a final judgment on that. But if they are a problem, I don't think that necessarily banning Twin was the problem. I actually agreed with the Twin banning at the time and still stand by it. And I actually wrote a piece up, and it was almost done, and then I never finished it and never published it, about why I agree wholeheartedly with the Twin banning. And that's coming from somebody that loved playing Twin, too. But I think that just aggressively costing the Eldrazi and then allowing them to be teamed up with the Temple and the Eye was probably more problematic than Twin or Summer Bloom not being allowed. And the second thing I'm going to say is that both of these decks would theoretically be built differently if they were to face each other. If Eldrazi were a known quantity, Twin would be built slightly differently to accommodate that, and vice versa. If Twin were legal still, the Eldrazi decks would have to account for that in their deck building. So we'd see like the blue-red version have Rending Volleys in the board. The Channel Fireball list already had Dismember as main, which are really helpful. And also just answers to Blood Moon, because I think that part of the reason that Twin might be successful against Eldrazi, which is what we're testing and we'll find out if that's true, is that it is the best Blood Moon deck. Twin, it does a lot of things right. There's a reason that it was deemed probably too good, but it's really good at buying time and digging through its deck, and it can play Blood Moons in the sideboard, or even main deck, which we saw from some lists even before the banning, without really tripping itself up too much. Blood Moon is kind of a free roll in the deck and super, super powerful. So, as I said, the decks would likely be built differently. I did make a couple of changes. This slot was very often Roast. If I were to be playing Twin, I would much prefer Dismember to Roast. Usually it's like a Roast main and a Dismember on the board, or a 1-1 split on Roasts. But I'm playing a Dismember main and a Roast in the board. And besides that, this is pretty much the list that I would play otherwise. I was always a fan of the second Lighthouse over the Cavern. I was always a fan of Pia and Kieran Nalaar over Keranos or Batterskull. And yeah, Twisted Image is a card we've seen main deck, and if the Eldrazi decks were around, we might see more of it. And from the Eldrazi side, we might see more Spell Skies. So that might be a little give and take of this matchup that we would see if it were allowed to play out. And then the Gut Shot instead of the second Staticaster is just because there's a lot of fastness with X1s going on between Affinity, Infect, and Eldrazi Mimics. I actually think Gut Shot is kind of a necessary evil. And the fact that you have Snapcaster, 4 Snapcasters makes the Gut Shot a little more useful than the Staticaster going long. Because if your Staticaster dies, then it just dies. But like I said, otherwise the list is exactly what I would be playing anyway, which is why we have Lightning Bolts main that are real bad against Eldrazi. But we'll see how this plays out, because I'm really curious to see whether the criticisms of the Twin banning being responsible for the Eldrazi dominance at the Pro Tour are founded at all. I forgot to mention, the way that we're doing these videos is really cool because I'm going to be recording this side and Kenji's going to be recording his side. So go to NumotGaming.com and you can watch both sides of the match being played out with our own individual thoughts. We're not on Skype or anything, so we're able to talk through our decisions normally, and you can see both sides, even at the same time if you sync them up, which I think is really, really cool and should be done more often. And maybe we'll be the ones to do that more often. But I hope you enjoy these videos. Let us know in the comments, because this is kind of a weird thing, you know. This is a theoretical matchup that doesn't actually exist in real Magic. So it's going to be a little hit or miss. So I'd love to hear if you guys enjoyed these or not.